Hey, Packlight. Literally a long time no see. I've missed y'all. And just like working on this project so much because it is something that is very near and dear to my heart. And then I'll be talking to Jade, and y'all, life be happening, and we just be out here wondering how we're gonna make it like work. I feel like mine is just going through an existential crisis in your 20s like every other day. It does, like, feel like sometimes we don't know what in the world we're actually doing, even like when we're trying. But, I found me a nice bench lit. And here we go. So I guess there are a lot of things that are really on my heart, just like weighing on me that I've just been releasing and trying my best to release. First and foremost, I think like kind of owning where you are and acknowledging like where you are at the time, like in your life. I feel like I had wanted myself to be at a certain area or was wishing that I was there. I feel like I got real Mr. Rogers, but like, look at this bench. Isn't it really cool? And now I'm like, okay, about to be in real comfort. I got things to say mode. Like I had to kind of accept where I was in my life and just understand not only is it a process, but going through the process is like what's going to give me strength. And like it's really about trial and error. Like I've been feeling like I wasn't trying enough or doing things right. And then it's just a try. Like if it fails or if it doesn't work out how you think it's going to work out, like go ahead and try again. And like as being an artist and like trying to pursue my artistry in a way that felt like sustainable, and also being like somewhat of an academic. Like my background, I used to teach. I taught overseas in Spain. I taught high school in Baltimore and like worked with youth and did tutoring. I don't know how often Jade and I even really talk about our jobs, but like in transparency, definitely working in education and freelancing is like what I do to put money on the table while I'm supposed to be working on my art or might be working on my art. And I just had a few conversations with people and they were talking to me about how, just being able to sustain myself in another way and how having like job stability might help in other areas like my anxiety. Because being a freelancer, like it is kind of like I might know where my next check is coming from, but I might not know where my next like 3 or 4 checks are coming from. So it just seems kind of like arbitrary, like, okay, well, I got to make sure I get this job or secure the bag or do this, which like as like a Capricorn, I'm like pretty decent at doing, but at the end of the day, it didn't make me feel like mentally stable. And in terms of feeling like anxious about what's going to happen, I would say that it did contribute to that. So just like prioritizing what's right for you. I was reading an article the other day. Gosh, I wish I could cite it, but I say article. I'm just like everybody else on the internet. By reading an article, I was looking at a tweet. But I think it was a tweet. It's either a tweet or an article or link to an article. Either way, it was talking about, it was a long form post, so maybe it was on Instagram, talking about this woman who essentially was able to realize that the model of like quitting her day job like wasn't for her, and like don't quit your day job. Because like ultimately I feel like we do have a purpose and we come on this earth and we're trying to find it and we like seek out things we're good at and things we can do and things we're passionate about and hope that, it would be some sort of accumulation that all of these would come in some sort of like perfect harmony. And I think that's like a lot easier said than done. And like you might have to find the balance that works for you. Like some people are really productive and working freelance and they're going to work freelance and budget their hours and do this amount of work for this amount of time. And other people are not like that. And being anxious, I felt like I was really stressing over what I had time to do. So I think just like finding methods in which we can curb that anxiety, or like, hold it at bay. So I'm currently trying to figure out if a full-time job would be like better for me than freelancing and holding things at bay and applying the process of, interviewing for different things. And we'll see. I will keep you posted on that front. Y'all, Brooklyn is really lit. I just came into like a whole little like wild life. Hi. Little like area talking to the folks. What's up? So another thing I really wanted to discuss is like being confident in yourself and in your decisions. I feel like at the age in which I am and a lot of my friends are, we're very impressionable still. Like you think you get to a point where it's like, I don't care what nobody thinks about me, or like I don't care like if somebody thinks that I'm this or that. And I think ultimately there's a part of us that like really wants to feel that way completely, but it's really hard to feel that way in totality unless you're like a sociopath kind of, because you ultimately do care to a certain extent. Now, because like I was listening to a podcast and we're talking about like the validation you get from likes on Instagram and how like we want people to like us, and though it's like ultimately like I might not care if you know what I'm doing at all times, I still want you to like what I'm doing. Like right, like if Jade and I do a vlog, it's like, okay, like hopefully like this is like the truth and our honesty, like this is still my truth. I hope that you like it, like I hope that you watch it. But ultimately, like I think we have to work on being really genuine with ourselves and like, okay, well, if nobody's rocking with this, like am I still sound in my decision? Like have I been influenced by my decision for, I don't know, life, like what you believe, like how you express yourself, how you emote, like are you feeling validated in that? And like if you are not, like are you able to give yourself the self-validation that you need in order to move forward and get what you have to get done? Like I just kept getting stuck really over the past like year and a half, honestly, on things that other people said over my life or things that I felt like I couldn't do, or like would I be disappointed in this person if I lived this life and like lived this truth, and like honestly just like living my truth like as unapologetically as possible, and like truly being okay with that, like going to bed at the end of the day and being like, if this is the truth I'm living, if this is the truth I'm walking in, like is this okay with me? Because it's like beautiful to take in a whole bunch of opinions from other people but ultimately like if the opinion that doesn't matter best like is your self opinion, you're just gonna set up yourself up on a foundation and be like exploited, like honestly, because everyone's still gonna look out for their best interest. So yeah, they might not like a version of you, but it's because that version of you doesn't fit in with the version of them that they want you to be. Ultimately it's still a selfish goal. So the people that like love you and support you, they're gonna look out for your interests like as a whole, like for you, and not just, oh well, I want Janae to be this way, or I want Janae to do these things, or have this job, or look like this, so I can look good, or it won't look like a disappointment in me. And that can come from family, that can come from friends, partners, like all types of pressure, but I do think it's like ultimately an importance in whether or not you can feel okay and secure in that aspect. New York, the world at large, I still believe in us, and I will never forget, and truly like living in this human experience, our opportunity to be able to work with one another and love on one another and heal one another and be there for one another. And in order to do that, we got to make sure we are prioritizing self, and that we're okay, you know, because no one else can tell us whether or not we're okay, but we can be okay if that's something we are consistently striving for. I believe it. Love y'all so much. Bye.